Hey everyone, so I wanted to do a little kind of like a year gap between the last video I've ever made about kind of like a walk around of the Civic. A lot of things have changed since then. I've ran a lot of different setups, and this is kind of the one that I've currently been on for quite some time now. I'm actually very happy with the setup and felt like I wanted to share it with you guys. So I'll just go probably like throughout the whole build, show you what's been different, what's been the same since the last one, and everything like that. The only thing I was really missing was the rear spats. The rears are finally on. Fitment is not perfect. Once again, these aren't the actual Honda OEM ones. These are kind of the aftermarket versions, but I think they do the job for a fraction of the price. For the exhaust, I converted it into the Skunk 2 Catback. It's a 3-inch exhaust, pretty loud, comes with a silencer. When the silencer's in, it's actually pretty nice, pretty quiet. You could cruise on the highway with no drone at all. Obviously for a 3-inch catback, it is quite loud. It's one of the louder options you can get for the Civics. But I think it has really good sound, pretty aggressive. It's just the exhaust, there's no downpipe with it. I know Skunk also, I believe, does a catless or catted downpipe, I forget, but it's a little too aggressive / raspy for me. So if I ever run a downpipe, I may or may not need to change out this exhaust, but we'll see if that ever does occur. I have your red Honda badge, of course. I have a Caruse design Gurney. Had it on for a couple years now. It's been on for quite a while. I really do enjoy it. Helps out with the black roof, the black accents, and also gives it a little bit more of a shape. In my opinion, the OEM wing is quite sufficient enough, but I feel like it gives it a little bit more of aggressiveness, and it really kind of ties up the rear end, especially with the rear spats. As for the wheels, I went for the of course, the ones that can't really go wrong. You see them always on Hondas, to be honest, but it's just because it's an overall pretty good wheel. All right, these are obviously the Enkei RPF ones. The specs for these ones are, it's a 17/9 plus 35 offset. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good and flush, not too aggressive. Sits a little out. Obviously, my fenders have been kind of gotten the worst of it. You know, a little bit of like I think they're pulled slightly. You know, you have to kind of tweak it a little bit to get these to fit with these kind of tires, but it works if you run them. As for the wheel setup, of course, went for the safe bet, and I actually wanted to change. So the original tires and wheels that I had, the wheels were Aodhan AH08s. They were in white. The specs on those were 18 by 8.5 plus 35 offset. These ones are these Enkeis are 17/9 plus 35 offset, and these ones are wrapped in the Advan Apex V601s. So summer tire, pretty good. They've done me a pretty good job. Overall quality is really nice in my opinion. These are my first time running Yokohamas, so I'm pretty satisfied with this tire. This is obviously my little like summer setup, and then my white wheels they have the Michelin Pilot Sport all seasons on there, so those are also a very good tire. But I'm very satisfied with both of these sets. I'm obviously liking this one a little bit more. You know, the Enkei RPF ones are pretty iconic and they're pretty common on Hondas. I feel like it's like their bread and butter, so I feel like I'm really enjoying this kind of setup. The tire specs, are for the Yokohamas, they're 225 45 R17, and then the white ones, the Aodhans, are the Michelins, I would say, are 225 40 R18s. So these are obviously 17s, the other ones are 18s. So this one's got kind of more of a track fitment, it's kind of stance going on. I haven't adjusted the ride height or anything like that, so this is just how they sit with these kind of this setup. Once again, this is the full kit on. Has a little bit of wear and tear over time, but for being, you know, aftermarket non-OEM ones, I can't really complain for what they are. Front one's got a little bit of, you know, paint stuff going on down there, but it is what it is. Headlights are amber deleted. As you guys know, this portion of the headlight is usually completely full of amber. Quite a lot of amber on these cars, and you clearing them up, it kind of helps the front end in my opinion. Doesn't have the colors clash as much. They are LED lights. We wrapped all the chrome bits, as I've stated before. Those are all black now. Kind of mutes the whole front end a little bit more. My calipers, as you saw when I was showing the wheels, those are painted red. We got the roof and the side mirrors painted black. Just a couple of other little paint corrections here and there. So this is what's under the hood. Nothing really done too much. We've got the Injen cold air intake. It's a true cold air intake, so it goes all the way down there. Kind of where that fog light is sitting is where the intake sits. For a little while, I ran it without the little light there, just to have a little bit more of an aggro look, but also just because more airflow would go there. But because it was raining quite a lot and I was scared of hydrolocking the motor, I decided to put the fog light back in. But also, you know, it looks a little bit better just because both of the fog lights are in now. Pretty good intake. Install was kind of tricky. You have to do the battery relocation kit with it. Besides that, I mean, the engine's been about the same other than the Ktuner. I have the hybrid racing shifter cables down there. The trunk, nothing really special with the trunk. I always keep kind of my essentials with me. This is the silencer for the exhausts. You just kind of slide that in. You put a little bolt in it so it doesn't fly out on the highway. I carry some of my oil just in case you got to top it off, in case you're running low, and other little, you know, like jumper cables and stuff like that. I do have this spare as well. I replaced it with the full spare since I have that other set of the Aodhans, but figured that the spare would still do its job. But yeah, so this is the engine bay again. Once again, nothing really done other than the cold air intake, battery relocation, and then the hybrid shifter cables. And then I'll bring you guys on the inside. So this is the inside of the Civic now. So obviously I did an install on this one as well. Now we have a bucket seat in it to replace the OEM seats. As you can see, the OEM seat doesn't really have a lot of bolstering. Very comfortable seats, obviously, but they do get a little dirty, as you could tell. I spilled some water and you could tell there. But they're still really good seats. I still have the one at home, but of course I got it replaced with one of these bride seats. One of my buddies had them, gave me a little deal on that, so I couldn't really pass the offer. Got the rest of the red badges. This is kind of a gauge. I found it on Amazon for quite cheap. One of my friends also showed me that one. Figured that I honestly kind of needed it because if y'all don't know, the 9th gen Civics in general, for whatever reason, do not have a temp gauge. So you're not able to really see where your temperature's at, ideally, because honestly, they have a dummy light that comes on when you first cold start the car, and it's like a cold indicator light for your temps. But obviously, once that turns off, that's kind of your only indicator. And then obviously it's more, that indicator is kind of like a dummy light, because it's sort of like an indication that, okay, you could start moving, you could start going, because the stuff's up to temp, but it doesn't ever give you an actual gauge. So with this one, and I'll show you guys in a bit, this one actually tells you all the information you need. And I'll try and leave a link for one of these in the description. But honestly, I just looked up on Amazon just for, you know, it just goes directly into your OBD2, and I just looked up on Amazon just to get this, and it's just taped on, so nothing too fancy. And then we have the PLM low down seat rails attached to the bride seat. So this is my shifter. I have the hybrid racing shift knob, the 130R. This is the Delrin shift knobs that they have. This one's in white. This one is the Buddyclub short shifter. It's the OEM one is usually like a yellow color. This one's black. Obviously, it's not as fancy as the you know, the Acuity or the full hybrid racing ones, but it does the job for being with shorter shifts. Once again, as I said, the cables are attached to that. And then I have a couple of the base bushings and stuff like that from Acuity in there. So that's my whole shifter setup. Once again, this is kind of the POV with this thing as well. You got the back seats. My brother, as a joke, gifted me one of those fire extinguishers, but you know, you never know, so it's honestly good to have. And that's about it on that. And I'll give you guys a little sound clip of the Skunk 2. Once again, out of the three, it's like, you know, the top three that you can get within the Civics as far as 3-inch catbacks go, these are one of the louder ones. I believe the top three, if I'm not mistaken, goes NVIDIA, then Skunk, and then I forget what the third one is, but those are usually known to be like the louder ones. I know that the quietest one is the full race. I don't got that full race exhaust kind of money, so I didn't go for that one. Also, it is a bit too quiet for me, but I've heard those setups paired with like downpipes, and honestly, it does sound really clean. So this one you can get a little bit aggressive, a little raspy here and there. That's just kind of how it goes with these K-series. So you just gotta be aware with that. But I had a pretty good deal on Facebook to get this one, and I feel like I couldn't pass the offer there. So, but I'll give you guys a quick little sound clip of the exhaust, and yeah. This was the meter I was telling you guys, so it's already warm. Kind of gives you just a gauge, gives you a bunch of other information. As you can see, if you have a turboed car, it gives you your PSI as well. It also has a pretty accurate 0 to 60 timer and a brake test. But mainly I stay on this one, gives me my air-fuel ratio, and then my voltage as well. I would technically change my voltage, but I can't really do that. You could change these two. You just kind of play around with it. There's ways you could just change it around, but figured, because obviously without that, how do I know my temperature? You know, you never know if it's running hotter or not. I'm sure they give you more gauges there, but I would like to see it happen more than try and guess. So that's one of the purchases that I'm glad I was shown. And it's pretty accurate with the revs. If anything, it's a little faster, because as you can see, the needle there only drops so quick because there's no rev hang with Ktuner. So, but as you can see there, it takes a second to even go down, versus this is how it's actually really going. So, pretty cool to see. Forgot to show you guys, also have the sunroof, of course. I'll leave a full mod list in the description, because there's some stuff I probably have missed out. But yeah, so that's honestly most of what had happened, kind of what's been done to the Civic since then. Still hasn't given me any problems, you know, knock on wood. It's been a really enjoyable car. We actually have something in the works, hopefully coming soon, that we'll be excited to show you guys. But you know, we'll try and get all the progress on that vehicle soon. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. It's just a little quick, you know, recap of what's been going on with the Civic, where it's been at, and hope you guys enjoyed.